All right. Hello, folks, and welcome to another pairing stream with me, Ted M. Young, and Mike Rizzi. How you doing, Mike?
Good. Been a little bit frenzied, but that's sometimes the nature of life, mine in
Hmm.
particular. But
Yep.
doing good, doing good.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to play my TDD game. That's this thing remotely this morning over Zoom, um, and it worked out pretty well. But there's a reason why I'm developing the online version because managing even three players was kind of rough. So, but those streams have been going well. Uh, Making progress on that. But today, what are we doing today? What's on the agenda for today?
Song themes. Well, should we look at Jira?
Let's look at Jira.
Never gets old.
It does not.
Let's see. Looks like we left off with a failing test. Let's see if that's true. No, maybe it was all tests. I just ran IO free.
And by the way, hello, Jonas.
Hey, Jonas.
It's too bad the StreamYard chat doesn't show the these are little animated dancing guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Dinosaurs?
They are Dino Dance. Yeah.
Dino dance. Hey.
Oh well.
Well, nothing. Two ignored tests. Nothing failing. What is our note here? We're working on bulk import. Failing test. Show number of songs imported. Will be in song importer test. Might require.
Yes. So we didn't finish with a failing test. We basically wanted to write a failing test to do some additional assertions for what we want on our success page. Mike, would you mind hiding the little StreamYard thing at the bottom?
Oh, I had moved it over, but then I realized I shared the wrong monitor, so I had to unshare and reshare.
No worries.
Does that show, by the way?
It does show,
Interesting.
and it shows in front of the
code.
whatever you're sharing. So it's showing right in front of the presentation assistant. So it's perfectly placed. So what is in song importer test?
Let's go take a look. So we've got single failure message when missing header row. Song import adds failure messages plural for failed import. Song
So
import.
this is so we basically had we wrote the test to redirect to the song import success page. And that was the last thing we did there. So that's the test that's visible. And so what we want to do, what do we want to do?
I think we wanted to display the number of songs imported.
Okay, so what does the page currently do?
Well, at the moment, it just says it redirects to song import success.
And what does the success do? Is it just so to the bottom?
Oh, it's already there. Great.
Okay, so right now it just displays a success message. Do we even know what that success message is? I don't think we have any assertions against that.
No, we don't.
So we could look at the code and see what does it do in a response to handle song import.
It looks like it just returns that page. It doesn't actually put anything in the success message.
So that looks like the 0th step before we can, or maybe that is the message that we want to test against. So we need to start writing a test against that.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, we need some kind of success message. Hello, Astrid.
So write a assert that asserts for a message that's not there, and then have it fail. And then
Yes. So we can look at the failure mode as um, uh, so actually, I think we talked about this last time. There's sort of two possibilities of how we do this. One is we send along redirect attributes, um,
Hmm.
and then those get displayed on the success page. That requires, or that is not resilient in the face of a problem. Because if you do the post and it succeeds, but then the return message is dropped, you'll never know. So
Right.
we never know if it succeeded or not, uh, and you may try again and then end up with duplicates unless we do duplicate checking. Uh, and so that's basically the lack of separation between commands and queries. Um, Because what that's saying is the import command returns useful information that we have no other way to obtain,
Right.
which we could say that's fine, uh, or we could do something else, which is do command query separation. Um, and that would be that somewhere we'd have to persist information about the most recent, or possibly all, song imports and whether they were successful or not.
That's summarizing it.
Yep.
So, what are some? So in a way, number two is kind of like um, we've separated the two, and then we say, "Yo, were there any errors?" Basically, sort of that old. Um, what was that in Unix decades ago? Like error info, where you would query the object after the fact, like how did it go?
Mhm.
Probably wasn't even an object. It was probably a before it
It
was
was
even
probably a
object oriented.
process. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, something along those lines. Is that what you're thinking for number two?
Yeah, so we could, either say we'll just store the state of the last thing that happened, or and this is where you get into a little bit of event, oriented stuff, whereas we just save every single command and its state, uh, which would also make the failure mode uh, possibly easier, um, or at least it would make the failure mode also more resistant, uh, to problems. But either way, yeah, either way, we would be able to see what was the last thing that happened. The downside of only failed. So the songs you were trying to import never got to the server, and then of course don't see anything because you never got a redirect.
Right.
Um, so either it never got to the server or the server fell over. Now you're not sure. Do I retry it? And there's no way to check. And if you try to check the state, the last state is like, I haven't gotten anything from you. So what are you talking about? Versus, well, the last thing we did was 2 days ago, and here's the status. Um, that would tell you something. And so it depends on where we persist that info. Do we just persist it in memory? So if you ask for it again, or do we persist it somewhere more
Persistable. Persistent.
persistent, somewhere more permanent, and then we don't have to worry about that. And these are, what's interesting about all these choices is these are actual choices. these are trade-offs. We can say, you know what, I'm really not concerned about losing a post message or item potency or anything like that, where it's like, if something fails, I'll just deal with it. Which is completely a valid option, because it's all return on investment. What's the investment? What's the payback? What's the sort of, if it does fail, how much does that hurt? That kind of thing.
And option one, oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's so Atrid says, let's just use the last ID in the table and assume that that's what we want. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
so if we did
so
number
saying,
one,
yeah,
we're breaking the idea of separations and commands and queries.
which is fine. We're allowed to.
Which, yeah, that's what I know. Yeah, there's certain situations where it's worth it, and it's just we're breaking that, but we're doing it intentionally versus
Exactly. So as opposed to I don't know any better, or I just don't care, or I'm being lazy, we're making an intentional choice. And if we were doing architecture decision records, this would be an ADR, and we'd say,
Right.
here's why we did it this way.
I mean, I must admit, while it would be fun to go through all the work of two, it seems like an awful lot of work for what is a system that doesn't require that kind of resiliency
Yeah,
at this point.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
my take on it, but I'm curious.
I'm on that as well.
Okay.
I mentioned the other options
Because we're
so that we
streaming.
could explicitly
Talk about it.
decide
Yeah.
that they're not worth it. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we have decided
Yes.
that we're willing to give up a little bit of resiliency because it is likely overkill, certainly for our use case of there's only one person who's inputting songs, and that person is Mike.
Sorry, I'm just filling out our ADR here. Okay.
Yeah, I was actually going to go and find a template and use that, but we'll maybe
Okay.
do that.
I was doing it the really cheap way, just decision.
So you basically made a decision to make the ADRs simpler than that's totally fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as decision. I was more like, I'm blurting this out, and then I was like, oh, wait a second, this could be the cheapest ADR ever written. But no, we could do templates too. I'm not married to the idea of.
I think perhaps it doesn't have to be a full template on its own for each one. I think we might want to create a separate file though that is our series of ADRs.
Good idea.
So it's our AD database because it's our architecture decision database of records, because something, I don't know.
I mean, I don't like using acronyms unless I have to. So how about we just call it architecture decisions?
Oh no, I was not suggesting using an acronym. So yes, please.
Oh, okay.
Architecture decisions is great.
And did you have a rough idea of template? Otherwise, I would just start winging it.
I mean, I don't think we need a template. We're not that formal. So I put into the chat Michael Nygaard's from 2011, which is as early as I remember ADRs. So how he does it, and there's a bunch of different variants. I think it was just we put the date, and that's fine.
Yeah,
and maybe a number in case we make more than one decision today.
I'm thinking about that. If we had more than one decision, wouldn't we just have? I mean, we could give it like a title, context, decision.
That's fine.
And so then if the title changes,
Sure.
we can actually even do it this way.
That's fine.
I feel
Whatever's
like I'd get confused by the one, and then one again, and then one. You know what I mean?
Oh, I wasn't saying one per day. I was saying also increment the number. But
Oh,
I really don't care.
a full sequential number. Got it. So the first one would be 1. In other words, a unique number for the whole thing.
Yes. This is not a decision I wanna spend much budget on.
Time on. Yeah. Cool. Let's do
Since
the
you're
first
typing
one.
it whatever you want.
Okay.
Because we've made
2024.
other decisions that I
Yeah,
know
true.
that we've regretted, or at least I've regretted,
Not
not writing
documenting.
down, like
Yeah.
that set versus list generics thing.
Right.
Like, oh, we should have written that down.
What do we want to call for a total on this one?
I
I think I like this better.
don't know, something about import success.
You say fix import success?
No, just import success. Import success.
User information?
Yeah, response information response, something like that. Something about how we return that information.
How do we?
Well, it's more about how how the browser finds, how the browser gets the information about the success.
Oh, at failure, go to another page.
Failure will go to the same page, but failure is actually kind of covered under this as well, because it's sort of a more general thing. Although this decision applied specifically to the success.
So include failure in the parenthetical or no?
No, because we're not making a decision about that. I think we already decided that that was fine. We didn't record that, but we're not going to record that now. So I think there's context, and then there's the choices, and then there's what we selected. So you've got the choices.
So you want to call it choices?
Sure.
Or options? I think like options better. Thoughts, ideas, blurts.
I mean, it's explicitly the things we can choose from. So options is right on.
Okay. I just copied that.
Yeah, and that's.
Anything else?
Is that a typo, Astrid?
Did I type Vessians somewhere?
No, I'm not sure. So options, that or that. Decision, option 1. Yep. Sounds good to me. So I might rename the file so it's a markdown. file, and then you can use some of the Markdown formatting to help divide things up.
Is it Shift F6? No.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not working.
So for this case, you have to be in the project window. Because otherwise it thinks you're trying to rename in a text file, which doesn't work.
Got it.
So now what you can do is you can, I would put like a double octothorpe in front of that and put a space.
Like that?
Yep. So now that's treated as a second heading. If you mouse over in the upper right of that client, a little to the left. Why is it not showing up?
Is it a setting you have on your computer? Perhaps?
Yeah, there should be a showing the preview of this file. Maybe close it and reopen it because maybe it didn't realize
Because it was, yeah.
There it goes.
There you go.
That's what I was looking for.
Oh, interesting. Oh, because it's MD, it doesn't count that as a break.
Right. So you want to put a new line before context and put 3 hashes in front of that. And then 3 in front of that. Yep. Yep. There you go.
Okay.
You probably want a blank line after 2. So after up 12 and a half, line 12 and a half. No, after 2.
Oh, after. Really?
So no, so 12 and a half. Line 12 and a half.
So there.
Yes. And if you hit tab, that's what you want the level of indent for those next 2 items.
Got it. So you want that, so that 3 goes away. Oh, it gets converted to that.
Yeah, so that number is sort of irrelevant, but that's the tab level you want for
So if
those
I get rid of the
items.
number 3, will that go away?
So you don't want to get rid of the number 3.
Oh, why?
Because that's the level of tab that you want. So what I would do is erase all the white space to the left of the A and just basically join the lines.
Like that?
No. So undo that. Go to line 13, indent, and join the lines.
What is it? Alt J?
It's
No,
Control Shift J.
J.
Right.
Like that?
Yeah, but not twice. Right, because those are 2 separate entries, so we want those on 2 separate lines, and they need to be at the same level of indent, otherwise it doesn't know that they're 2 separate entries. So get rid of the A and the B. And now move the B to the left so it's aligned with, yep. Put a number in front of that.
Like 4?
Doesn't matter. But it has to be the same level as the 3. There you go. So generally when you're doing Markdown, so I take it you're not familiar with Markdown.
No.
Okay.
I'm
So
aware of it, but I'm
when you're doing Markdown, when you indent, it does the numbering automatically. So you're putting numbers there, just tells it, hey, I want these numbered. You have a little bit of control over how those things get numbered, but you could basically put 1s in front of all of them and it would number it automatically. I'm not sure why it picked no Roman numerals for those.
Yeah. If I remove the 3 and the 4, what would happen?
It wouldn't know that those are ordered line items.
If I did 1 and 2, no, doesn't really. I wasn't at 2 here.
Yeah, so you have to put something so that it recognizes that is not a continuation of the previous line.
Got it.
And that it is part of the same list. So
you're just not sure why it's doing Roman numeral or the.
Yeah, I think if you put A and B, it would probably number it as A and B. But then you need to put you'd need to put a blank line Yeah, I'm not sure it's recognizing that. So there's different markdown variants. I don't want to get hung up on it. So.
Yeah, no.
All right, so we've got our decision record. So let's get to it.
Okay. Should we commit that we've got this, or wait till we write the code for it?
You can commit. I'm always in favor of committing more frequently than less.
Okay.
All right, so then we're going to want to then structure this in the same way as we did for the failure messages, which is use the redirect attributes to provide the information about the success message. So you could probably grab from the failure one in the test.
These guys.
Yep.
I'll copy it, but some of this will change.
Yeah, maybe it's not worth copying any of it because it's already been refactored to be useful for the failure messages. So, we can just start coding. So what we'll want to do is extract the redirects attributes model map into a variable that we'll have access to. Because what we want this method to do is to put stuff in there. Basically put the success message in there, and then we'll evaluate that it was put in there.
Gotcha. So I'm just going to look back down here. So here we've put it to a local variable.
Right.
So we then could check things here.
Correct. Yep.
Got it.
So it's very much like the concurrent model stuff we've done before. It's just because we want Spring to hold on to it over a redirect. We use redirect attributes.
Okay, so we've got that part. Just looking at the other one, this has got a special function that we wrote.
Yeah, it's just a convenience method for pulling out the right thing. So you could grab the line of code in that method, because we'll do something very much like that.
Well, without the.
Yep.
Oh, nope, not that one. No, it is that one.
So I think you extracted the variable
in the wrong
test
method. You're right. Revert.
Yep.
Nope, no, not breakpoint. Revert. Okay, let's go back here. Let's do this. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. There we go.
All right, and then we can put it right there. And we said it was success message is what we're looking for as the key in that map. And then let's assign that to a string, because we're expecting it to be a single string.
Oh, hey.
And you'll need to cast it.
Right. What was that again?
If you just do an option, an alt enter, it'll fix it for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And then now we can probably assert that we can start out with it being not null. And then we can ratchet up our assertion.
I knew I was missing something.
All right. So if we ran this test, what would our expectation be?
That it would fail because we haven't put anything into success that I'm aware of.
Right. So that's our prediction.
Quick question. Oh, there you go. Now we just want to run Now, is song importer?
Yeah, we
this
just want to run
is-
the IO free.
Yeah.
All right, fails as
Okay.
expected. It's this card. All right, so let's make it pass.
Okay, so this would be on the import success. So we would do redirect attributes.add / attribute. Oh, interesting.
Why do you have an extra parens there?
That's what I was wondering. Huh. Success message singular. And at this point, we just want it to have something, so we could just.
Yep. Basically, you just want something that's not null. So I wouldn't even
you
put
would just go with empty.
I would just go with an empty. All right.
Now,
and
wait a second.
you're,
How's the redirect at? 1 second. I'm just thinking about this. Okay. Yeah, my prediction is it should pass.
all right.
Nope.
Oopsie.
Did you see something?
Yes, and I was wondering if you were going to catch it before. If not, then we would have had a failing test. That's fine. So,
Cool.
So not as predicted. You have to stay in the current hex tile.
So, you are in the game mode. Now we're setting success message. Oh, I spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
And this one's a get fast attributes, which implies plural.
Because it's a map.
Okay, but we're only getting one, and so we don't have to cast it to. Whereas for these guys, it was failure messages plural.
So it's a map that maps strings to objects. So a list is an object, the string is an object. That's why we have to cast it, because we don't know what we're going to get. Are we going to get an array? Are we going to get a list? Are we going to get a string? We don't know.
Right. So it's up to us, the programmer who wrote the other side of this equation, to make sure they match. Got it. So now, hoping to succeed, unless there's something else I missed.
Nope, yep.
Okay.
Excellent. So now we can ratchet up our expectation. Well, I think we can be precise here. So it's a single message. What do we want that message to say?
Oh, is exactly.
Is equal. Right? We're just saying, what do we want to display if we successfully imported?
Well, I don't want to say successfully imported song, but I would say songs.
That's a place to start.
And then of course we'll have to add the number in a bit.
Right.
Now we'll just run this, it'll fail.
Mm-hmm.
It'll say got a blank string, not successfully imported songs. You run that again.
You mean run it? Yep. So
Okay.
failed as expected.
That's why Control W is your friend, Mike.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Let's run this and see if it should pass. Yep.
All right.
So now ratchet up some more and have the number of songs.
Yes.
So here we've added one song.
Correct.
So I don't know if I want to deal with the singular plural thing.
Oh, I'm fine for taking the easy route.
Okay. So
I usually put the parens around the S. So it's song. That way it applies both ways.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay. So the easy way out.
that's always the easy way out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
totally fine with that.
So now this should fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And let's see, where is our success message? So do we have a count of the number of songs? Import songs. What does that do? Does the parser parse all indicate anything? Result failure, and then success. So we just stuffed the number of songs in the list. So I guess we could do the count on the.
So I think there's something wrong here with our types.
And which portion were you thinking?
So what's the return value of the method that you're currently in?
It is result of song singular.
That type is not the correct type. It should be result of list of song.
Ooh. Who's calling this or checking it?
So this is because can we look at the result success method? The implementation of result success. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is that's why it works. So we've defined success as it must have list of whatever you've defined the success type as,
Got it.
which
And
is
that's
a very inflexible way of defining the success type.
because it always has to be a list of something, no matter what.
Well, yes, that. Plus, it's not obvious that that's the case, which because it wasn't obvious to me.
Right.
And
So it's not super self-documenting.
yeah, so it's not intention revealing at all.
Right.
And it doesn't allow us to use anything other than a list of those values. So if we wanted just a single value, or if we wanted a set of values, or we wanted basically anything other than a list of those values, we would not be able to do it. Since obviously we haven't needed that, we haven't done it. So I think what I would say is let's continue, but there is a task of
Jira.
we need to dump this result class and use a more proper one. I think we have a Jira for that. We just have to decide when we're going to do that. So I think there's another entry about there's a
These are all the done ones at the bottom.
yeah.
Let's see if it wraps around. No, I guess we
Yeah,
don't
so
have.
I think we probably want to put that one 23 under a bigger one, which is replace result class with library. Because we could continue to refactor it, but there's an implementation that's good enough that solves that problem plus this other problem that we ran into.
Should we put the reason for it here?
Yeah, I think we should document that there's an implied list of success for any success. Yeah. We could do an ADR. The reason why we're skipping it right now is because it works, or at least it works right now.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to do that. Okay. So that resolves my confusion. So if we go back to,
Explains your confusion. I'm not sure if it resolves it.
well, it resolves it for now.
True.
It may not
In our
resolve it.
minds.
It won't. The next time we run into it, we might be confused again.
Yeah.
So okay. So then in our code, I think we know what to do. So let's go.
So then back over here.
Yeah.
No, here.
Yeah. So my confusion was, where do we get the result? How could we possibly know how many songs there are if we're only getting one? And it's because it's always a list.
What is it? Dot formatted, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And no. Is it values.count or is it length?
It would be length for the. Sorry, size.
Gets us every time.
Yes.
Okay, so in theory, this should work.
Yes.
And if it does, we probably should add one more song to make sure it works for 2 songs.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it passed. That was awfully fast. Nope, that was all of them.
No.
Wait a second. No, default package.
That wasn't that fast.
It wasn't.
I mean, it was fast, but I expected it to be fast.
So what do you think of the idea of adding another?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah. So I might differentiate it differently to make it more obvious that it's different. I might just put 1 and 2 in front of at the end of each one.
Does it matter about the 1 and 33? Just add 2 in this one.
That's fine.
I'm like,
it's just the I at the beginning was not.
no, I know. I didn't like it either. I was starting to.
Yeah.
Partially as me being a wiseacre. So now this should fail. Because it's the number
How
of
is it going
songs
to fail?
on line 39. Let's crank this one up first.
Mm-hmm.
Now it should fail in 41. Well, 42 actually. Yep.
Well, actually, not 42.
Oh, right. Yeah, 46.
But yeah, but the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
it should pass. Excellent.
Cool.
So that's an interesting idea that Astrid has, is basically put a little. How often were you confused by this line? And basically, you add 1 every time you were confused by it, and when it hits a certain value, then it's like, okay, you really must refactor that.
I like the rule of 3 angle on it.
Yeah.
Where would we put if we wanted to do that? Let's do it just for fun.
So
where would we put it?
Where I was confused was in the bottom code when basically line 38, because I was confused by that.
Right.
I was confused by the fact that result was containing song, which meant that it could only hold 1 song. But I'd probably put it at the end of the line saying,
yeah, good point.
Confused 1 time by result song really being a list of song. And so I said one time because I wanted the digit one, so that would be incremented.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
thinking of here at the end doing, you know, 1.
so Astrid had the idea of putting a question mark. Can you put a question mark after the double slash? What does that look like?
Tied into it or with a space?
Right after it. So you could use that as the counter, but I think that's not obvious as to how it's counting. Um, but it might be good to have that as sort of the indicator of confusion. All right, let's
Cool.
see if we hit it again.
Commit?
Yep, we got a passing test for this
Yep.
little mini feature.
What do we call it? Right, success now returns. Bulk import success now provides browser with number of songs imported. Now we're not displaying any of that,
Actually, we are.
are we?
The HTML
Oh,
has
because
it.
it's text. Right, it's just the text that we're returning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Point. Okay. Knew I was going to do that wrong. So given this, since we have the ADR,
Yeah, you can delete.
probably delete that.
Mhm.
Do we need this framework test?
No,
Comment.
and you can delete the failing test part because what we achieved was not the failing test, but actually that
Right.
piece of functionality.
Yeah.
Astrid makes a good point of we've commented away potential confusion. So we could, to be more useful as a confusion indicator, we could basically drop everything after the word really.
Delete that, you're saying?
Yeah.
In other words, not explain the confusion?
Well, if you explain the confusion in a comment, you won't be confused. So if we're basically
Well,
running an
I could see being
experiment,
confused here and then being confused, then look at the comment. But
yeah.
you're
So
saying don't give the leading question kind of thing?
I think if we want to run this as an actual experiment of will we be confused by this again, I think we need
Ah,
to not
say
reveal
why.
the answer. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right. We can run the app and then do the import, and we should see what we expect to see.
Too many windows open. Oh, right. I probably have to do the kind in login. Yep. Good thing I had my password vault open and ready to go. Okay. So let's see. What do we want? Well, we're gonna have duplicates now. Will we? I'll find out. So this should be 13 songs. The problem with the width of the screen is the wrap makes it hard to count out. I'm going to pick a smaller number so it's easier to validate the test.
I'm not concerned about that. We have that's pretty well covered with tests. We could make the text area wider if you think that's a problem in the future.
Okay.
You can also drag the lower right to increase the size of the text area.
Oh, sweet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs. And we let her rip, pressing import. Ooh. Really?
Were you logged in?
Yeah. Did we not set up the authorization for the new? Isn't that song
no,
import success a new page?
Well, we got an error page. Oh, do we not have an endpoint for the success? We may not have actually implemented the success, but I'm concerned that that the error is not being passed through. Can we go to the security config?
Yeah.
We have dispatcher type error permit all. Oh, we did not explicitly add that page.
You mean like line 19?
Well, we would want that also as under line 20 as authenticated, because you shouldn't be able to go to the song import success page unless you're authenticated.
So you mean this?
Yeah, except we don't want to do it that way.
Okay.
What you want to do is, just like we did it on the line above, you can comma separate the endpoints.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
But this does mean we might want to think about putting them under their own path, so we don't have to do this every single time. But let's do it. Let's do it now, and then we'll fix it.
Okay, what was it called again? Song import success. Okay, stop and rerun the app.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to relog in or not. We'll see. Yep. Oh, nope. Interesting. Exiting from error dispatch 403. It didn't start up.
That's because it tried to refresh the page. So go back to the home.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I see what was going on. There we go.
Hey, Benny. So Benny mentions why not do any request authenticated? Because that's really dangerous. It's fine if you never will have any kind of different authorization for different aspects, but we will definitely have different authorization ability for different aspects of the application. So doing that, if somebody's authenticated, they may not be authorized to do the thing, and you may not notice. So I'm always very careful about doing anything if it's any kind of permitted or anything like that. I'd rather err on the side of not allowing somebody to do something when they should be able to, versus letting somebody do something that they should not be allowed to. So, all right,
Let it rip.
yeah.
Yay! There we go. Cool. Now, didn't we have? I guess let's look at Jira. But I thought
We had a Jira for showing the result, the actual stuff that got imported.
Yeah.
But
That
let's
might
do
be
it. So what I would say is before we do that, let's refactor our endpoints a little.
Okay. Actually, I want to just mark ensure. Which turned out it wasn't working. Browser. Okay, you were going to say something?
Yeah,
add to the list?
so let's put admin or contributor level endpoints under their own path to make security easier. But as Jonas suggests, let's do a commit since we fixed that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's a commit and then take a break.
Yeah, commit and take a break, and then we'll do that. Yes, the secret to productivity: just clone your Jira tickets, and what you do is you do it fractally, right? So you take the Jira ticket, you slice things down to small pieces anyway, and then you get, look at all the tickets I've closed. And you break it down really, really into super tiny pieces, and then you get lots of little tickets. But since tickets are apparently equivalent in value, you get lots of tickets done. This is why velocity works so well. Look, we've doubled our velocity. We've tripled it. We've closed
you want us to double our
tickets.
Yeah. There's that joke, right? Like, you sneeze and it's 2 more story points.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you create a ticket by saying, I've created a ticket for this thing. So I'll close that because now the ticket's created.
Okay.
All right. So we'll take our break. And when we come back from our break, we will refactor our endpoints. And then we'll move on to the next step, which is display the data that was actually imported and not just the count of songs. So we'll do that. So we'll see you after our coffee breaks. Enjoy the music. So just a reminder that I have a game called Jitter Ted's TDD game. You can see I've got a game in progress here that I've been playing with some folks, Astrid being one of them. But you can get your own copy. All you have to do is go to tdd.cards and you can get a copy. And on my solo stream, what I'm working on is putting this game online. And so currently that mock-up looks like this. So this is the online mock-up that I'm working on. And so if you purchase the physical version, then you will get early access to the online game. So go to tdd.cards. One of the things that's really nice about this game, besides being fun to play, it works as just a game. I've actually given it to my son for him to play with his friends. I have to check in to see how that went. So it works as just a game, but it also is perfect for fostering discussions around test-driven development, especially the predictive model and writing less code at each step, which I feel are really critical and often under-emphasized parts of doing test-driven development. So tdd.cards, you can get a copy. I've still got a few in stock, and you'll get early access to the online version. And now back to working on song themes. Mike, I think there you go.
Yep. I was double secret muted.
Yes. All right, so let's change our endpoints.
Can we actually? Yeah, I'm going to ask you. How do we do that? Do we just actually make a path, or do we need to?
So the where the templates are located is not at all important for where they end up appearing, and this is often confusing. I still get sometimes confused about it. The controllers, the get mapping and the post mapping define where. So these, even though we name them similarly, it's actually the mappings that matter here, not where the files are. So this is basically behavior provided by the controllers themselves. Did I forget the confetti? Hold on. There's the confetti.
Ooh, what was that for?
Because Astrid did a celebrate.
Oh, cool.
So what we want to do is we want to change some tests because we are changing system behavior. So we've got some tests against some of these endpoints. So what I would say is we want to find where the song import and song import success mappings are, and then change the tests for those.
Oh, here's song import right here.
Yep.
So find the test for this, which are all surprisingly song importer test.
So what we want to do is we want to look for the tests that are asserting against redirect page string values.
So here's one. So would we basically add a subpath, and what would be a name that would make sense?
You tell me. So usually what I do is I prefix it with a role that I believe will be applied to users who can access it. This isn't strictly admin, which is why I said contributor. So we could say either contributor or contrib. I don't mind the full name, but up to you.
I'm a full name person. So like that.
Looks good to me.
So now we run the test and it fails, and
Of
we
course.
just run this one or run all of them. I guess we'll run all.
It's an IO free. It's cheap.
Oh, it's cheap, yeah. And then to wait a second.
Yeah.
Why did it oh, I see. Never mind. Now it should pass.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Other ones. This one does song import, so it'll
Mm-hmm.
be the same.
Yep.
Run the test, fail.
And so there might be multiple tests that redirect to the same thing. So when we fix it, we might find that another test fails, but that'll be okay.
Right, because we'll. So that would be this one, probably. Could be that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Which test was this?
This was
Handles null.
yeah.
So actually, I fixed the wrong one.
Yeah.
It's
Well, run it and let's make sure that you fixed the wrong one.
because we'll now have 2 failing tests. Yes.
Very good.
Okay, so now we go back here.
You want to
Now
undo
we'll
the other
have-
one? Now we'll have
Yeah.
one. Yep.
Now I'll have 1. And this one is this test.
Wait, you're going to fix the test by.
Oh, I'll do it backwards. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
I mean, I'm
No, no.
okay. I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I would not have you.
Oh, I just did. So
That's fine.
now we got it failed for real.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't take that much time to go in the right order. Okay, so what else do we have in this file? That's checking redirect. That's it. So what other song import success?
So now we need to change our MVC tests because they also hit endpoints that we want to update. Because what we did was now they redirect to the right place, except the place where they need to redirect to are wrong.
So now we could do all tests, and we should get some failures.
Actually, I don't expect any failures because we haven't changed the mapping themselves. You can go ahead and run it. See.
Okay. MVC tests, they're slow, so they run under the all tests.
Yes. So slow.
Oh my God.
It's actually the JDBC tests that are the slowest because they have to bring up the test container and do stuff.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
how dare you?
Sorry?
Jonas is saying, how dare you write
Oh.
production code first? Yes, we should not be sloppy. We should not demonstrate sloppiness.
Yeah. Just imagine the ruler came and slapped me on my wrist. I don't know if that's a US only thing from decades ago. So let's see. So these are the 2 tests that are hitting song import and import success. 3 tests.
There are actually 3 because there are 3. In a sense, there are 3 separate endpoints. There's a get to the song import, and a post to the song import, and a get to the song import success. So there's basically 3 mappings that we need to update. So we just need to go through one by one, change it, have the test fail, and then fix it.
What am I missing?
Yes, what are you missing?
So I see the tests. Where is the? I guess I need to find the code that this test is running against.
Yes. So where would that be?
Is there a way to navigate to it directly?
Not
really.
If you're using the ultimate version of IntelliJ, it should have a way to link to that. If you hit control click there, it should take you right to the thing. Yep, right there.
Song importer, but didn't we just?
No, we only changed the redirects. We did not change the mappings.
Oh,
There are two parts. There's,
right.
hey, go here, and then there's, oh, you came here. Right? There's the response, which we've fixed, and now we need to change the requests.
Got it. Okay, so we want to change the expectation first. So in this case, I wonder if it's still in my buffer or not. I'm actually going to just see if it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. So now this one should consider slow. I'm just going to run this one.
Yeah, I was going to suggest just run that. Just run each test. Yeah, because we don't want to run the JDBC test. You could just run all the MVC, but you may as well just run this single test because that's all that's changed. So expect this to 404. And it does.
And
now
we run.
Now that should pass. All right, and then we can move on to the next one. Oh.
Oop. What?
You changed production first.
Oh, right. Thank you.
So again, we expect.
Oh no! I ran the wrong test.
Right. So our expectation failed. We expected a failing test with a 404,
right.
and we got
passed.
passing.
Yeah.
So
I ran the
that's
wrong
fine.
one. Yeah.
That's why we predict.
Okay.
So can you not scroll all the way to the top? I want to make sure. I want to see that 404. So it's right above the stack trace. There it is.
There it is.
So we see a 404. That's what we want. Now we can fix the code.
Now I can do Shift F10 because it's the exact same test.
Now that should pass.
Okay. Now this next one. Let me wait. Yep, that passed. Now this one I'm going to change the test, not the production code.
Yep.
Run this exact test.
Yeah, failed prediction, so you got to wait your next turn.
Yeah.
Oh no! Well, Jonas, if you want to write sloppy code, you can just say, "Well, Ted and Mike did that on stream, so I can do that." Just blame us. We'll be happy to accept the blame, or at least I will. All right, so that failed.
Interesting. Now the jump doesn't work. It went from the post to the get.
Right.
Now it should pass. Let's see.
Ted who? Cheater Ted. That's who. All right.
Okay.
So I would say let's run all the MVC tests. I don't think we need to run all tests.
So just IO based? Or just MVC?
Actually, do you have a configuration for MVC? Oh, we tag these as just IO. Let's tag these as MVC.
Instead or also?
Instead. Because the way I tend to do it is I tend to have IO free, MVC, database, and then just everything.
Is this the only MVC test class?
I believe not.
No, there's this one song.
So if you look for MVC test, because we always end it with MVC test. And if you look for names of files instead of a find in files. No, so not find in files. Yes, that one.
Yeah. I was just working on my keyboard shortcuts.
Yep.
So we just did this one.
Right.
So then it's this one.
Yep. Oh, look, that one's already tagged correctly. So we must have tagged the other one incorrectly. So let's go to our run configuration.
Wait a second, I'm not sure about that. So this is
or maybe we only.
Oh, no, I got them backwards. This
okay.
Yeah, I knew something wasn't right.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So let's go to our run configurations and edit them. Edit configurations. let's rename the IO based one, and we'll call this MVC tests.
Or would you make this uppercase because it's no longer
Oh, I don't care. And then change the tag. And then apply. And then
what, clone this one?
Yeah, then clone this one. You're gonna hit the little copy icon at the top.
Ah.
And then we'll call this database. And I guess we'll tag it as DB or database, whichever you prefer.
We must have some.
Yeah, they're currently tagged as IO, so we'll go change those.
I gotta fix the spelling of database for a second.
Yes. And can you click store as project file on this one and on, I think the other one is fine because we already saved that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they all are. They all were except for this one.
Yep.
And then now we have to find the database tests.
Yep.
Are they already tagged or no?
They're probably already tagged with IO. So you can do a find in files with a tag IO. Unless they weren't tagged at all. They clearly were not tagged at all because when you started typing tag, only 2 of them appeared. So we didn't tag them. If you look for test container.
Maybe we don't have database tests.
Oh, you're looking in directory. We don't want to look in directory. We want to look in project. Maybe that's why we weren't finding them.
Let's go back to tag.
Yeah, there you go. So we did tag them as database. The startup test though. You
want to go to this one?
What do we want to call that one? Well, we disabled it anyway. Let's just delete the tag for now. And I think we need to go back to the test configurations and update our IO free tests because I think they're now ignoring the wrong tags. Yeah. So instead of IO, we want MVC. So let's run the MVC tests.
Oops.
That's fine. Let that run. I was going to have that run anyway. So that's fine. Let's run the MVC tests. So these should only run tests that are MVC. Yep. And then you can run the database if you want.
Oh, did you have a different thing you wanted to run?
No, I was just going to say I wasn't going to bother running that at all.
We're definitely due for commit once this is done running.
Yeah, could just do none. Which basically says no tags. All right, let's commit.
Okay, what do I call this? We moved, what was the terminology we used?
Move the endpoint. So we prepared it, and now we can change our security in the next commit to actually take advantage of that.
Anything else? Oh, I guess we added improved run configs.
Yeah, I don't know that I bother even saying that. It's pretty obvious from the commit.
Yeah, okay. Now we're going to update the security. So we would just do one request matcher for /contributor? Or how do
Yes.
you do a path? So I would
Yeah,
take
so
this
what we do is,
out.
yeah, so take that one out. And then instead of song import, we'll say /contributor, since you've already got it in your buffer, and then a double star. So /double star.
Ah,
No, yeah. So what that does is anything underneath this path.
sweet. So let's stop it and rerun and make sure it works. Is that right?
Yes, we don't have. We could run all the tests because our MVC tests uh, use the security.
Mm.
So we could run those. Since they set up a fake user, they should have access to that.
So we don't need to necessarily do the manual running of the app.
We could
Probably
just to
should.
double check, but
Yeah.
those tests should, uh, and we can prove that by taking out the double star. So we didn't actually see it fail, so maybe we want to do that. So let's take out the double star. Let's run just the MVC tests because we don't want to spend time running the database tests. We should have these fail occur because we haven't set up permission to anybody for those.
Hmm.
Although we haven't denied, but no, we haven't explicitly permitted them. Um,
What do the
can we go?
MVC
Can we
tests?
go look at the MVC test? So we said with
Yeah.
mock user. Um,
Yeah, we don't say much more other than that.
uh, what's our are we using the right matcher? We are using request matcher. Let's see. Request matcher chooses the MVC matcher. Uh, we're not applying roles, so it should be anybody with a mock user, but can we go into the security config? No, ant matchers have been deprecated since like 5.8 changed a bunch of the way the matchers work, and you're supposed to use um, the request matchers. You can use the MVC matchers, but it's recommended that you use the request matchers. So the problem isn't that. So to me, I'm curious if we have to explicitly deny. Uh, Deny access up front. Because all we know is that you're authenticated or not. So we may have to do any request. Um, That's not what we want.
I mean, what I'm wondering about is how don't we have to define what the role of fake username is?
No, because all we
Whether
all we said in our security setup is that you're authenticated, so that it makes you authenticated. We have not applied roles
Oh,
yet. All
right.
we said is that anyone can access slash or theme search, uh, but nobody can.
And right now,
Uh,
nobody has authentication but me.
well, any logged in user is considered authenticated. So that fake user, that mock user, is considered authenticated.
Uh,
Um, let's see. So uh, yeah, so let's add at the end of that on a new line at the end of line 20 on a new line. Say dot any request dot denial. And let's
rerun
yeah,
the
rerun
test.
those. Yep.
Hmm.
All right, I don't want to rat hole on this. Let's just put the double star back.
And leave the denial.
Yeah, let's leave the denial just to make it explicit that any other request is denied.
Or run all the tests, all the MVC tests again, just to make sure
If
the
you'd
double
like.
star doesn't.
Yeah.
Should be fine, right? Should we add a Jira to look into this later?
No, I'll do it offline. Spring Security is one of the
Arcane.
um, has it's very brittle and it's very hard to use correctly, which is unfortunate for it being security because there's a lot of stuff going on under the covers that's not obvious.
Which means you could think you have it secure, but you don't.
Yes,
Which may
which
be
is
the case
which
we have right now.
yeah, which is unfortunate because I don't understand. There's clearly I'm missing understanding something. And the Jonas asks about the forward, and the forward is about forwarding to a template, which is supposed to be separate from the requests that are being made. Um, so these are not redirects because there's a separate redirect dispatcher type. All right, so let's run the app to check that we're okay.
Now I need to give a new path.
Yes. So all your autocompletes and history is now useless.
Dang. So, okay.
All right, let's if you want, you can import a song.
I'll do a bunch. 8. That's what I was expecting. So what did we change? Commit this
Yeah, let's commit this.
anyway, even though it's
Well, if you're not logged in, if you open up like an incognito or private browser window, you should not be able to. You should be able to get to the root endpoint, but you should not be able to get to the contributor endpoint.
okay. You want me to try that?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta log in.
Well, the idea is you don't want to log in. So you should be
Oh,
able to go to root. So localhost root. Right. So that's allowed. And now if you try to go to contributor, now it should force you to authenticate. Right.
which it does.
Yep. That's all we need. All right. So let's commit.
Okay, let's get that out of the way. What do we want to say?
Well, this we just changed the security to require authentication for anything in contributor.
Is that good?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Astrid. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Good night. I'll leave the lights on.
Hey there, Fullnuffle. I'm not sure what you're asking, Fullnuffle. Do you want to rephrase your question? Hello, is that Stelly? How do you want me to pronounce that? But welcome.
So you mark this one done or
This
no?
one's
This
done.
one we
No, I mean, we check. There might be some interaction with the way the tests are working. There might be some other interaction, but we checked our browser required you to authenticate, and that's all our test, all our security config says is you must be authenticated to access those. But you don't have to be authenticated to access the root. So we know that that works.
Do you want to look at Falafels clarification?
Summary of the logic behind the bulk import.
Like what it does, maybe?
So yeah, do you want to just go through what this method's doing?
Yeah. So we'll get a string of songs. If it's null, we consider it an error. Actually, contributed. We go back to the original page saying
Right.
can't do anything.
Although in that case, we don't show an error message. We're assuming that something went wrong because it's very unlikely that Spring will give us a null here. Because this comes in as a request from the form, and this is just sort of protecting that somehow you ended up here without doing that. But I don't feel the need to put anything else in.
Okay. So then we call the song service, which gets past the songs. We then instantiate a parser,
I
pass
don't think
those
you need to
songs
go this level. Just
this
stay,
low,
and Full Novel can ask any additional questions. I don't want us to go
deep. Okay.
depth births. So let's just
So we
stay.
basically parse it
Yep.
and then go back. If success, we say, hey, these are the songs, or not, these are the number of songs we successfully imported.
Right.
If it fails, we throw some failure messages back to the browser, and it's failure messages plural. So say we pass 5 songs and 3
Mhm.
fail,
Mhm.
we'll get 3 failure messages.
Right. Yep. And
Interesting.
and
Now
line
that
40
we're, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
line 44 basically puts whatever you had entered back into the text area. So you if you know if it's just a minor fix, you can fix it. Because what's always annoying is if you submit something and there's an error and then the thing is empty and you got to start all over is always annoying. So we basically put it back so it's there when the page sort of refreshes. Yeah, go ahead.
So one thing I realized is, so if we have 5 songs and 3 fail,
Hmm.
do the 2 success? We don't actually report that 2 succeeded.
Well, because they didn't.
Oh, if any fail, the whole thing fails.
Right.
Is that true?
I don't know. That's what I think is true. We can check.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. What do the tests say? Are they all in this class? Yep. Okay.
So I probably wouldn't look
So
for a test at this level that does that. I probably would be looking at a test directly against the song service import songs. Because if we don't have a test that says that, then we should write such a test.
yeah. Don't think we do.
So you're still at the song importer test? Do we not have
Oh,
any tests directly against the song service?
no, I thought we did. Let me go back.
Okay, so we have a whole bunch of song service tests.
So here,
Yeah.
added songs are saved, add song.
So we can check the malformed one. We just look to see if the result is failure. So we actually are not explicitly testing that a
We,
mixture of passing and a successful. Because I would say that the behavior that we want is that if any of them fail, we don't want any to succeed.
mm,
Because otherwise, then it becomes really hard to fix it.
you got to go in like, yeah.
Especially if you're a bulk importing like 200
Hundreds.
songs
Yeah.
and one of them fails. Now you got to go find that one song and go fix it and then delete all the others. And what if like half of them? I mean, I just think that should sort of be all
All success or
all
all
yeah,
failure.
all or
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah. But you're right. We don't actually have a test for it. So now actually, I don't know what the behavior is. We could look, but I think we should write a test.
Yeah. Sort of at this level. Hmm? Okay. Mhm. Mixture What was the new structure we were using with names?
So outcome first.
Right.
So I would say, what are we going to observe? We're going to observe the repository. So we can say something like, no songs added to repository when. So full no-full transactions are already implied by the JDBC implementation. So one thing that you may not have noticed is that this test class is an abstract class. Because it's testing against the application use case layer, we want one set of tests to run using our fake repository, but then we want the other to use the same code in the same test, but use the real test container database. So when it's using the real Spring Data JDBC and the test container, then transactions are automatically applied. Hey, Dota Attitude. Is that actual song data in the test? I mean, Mike's been picking stuff from actual song data.
If that answers the question.
So
Yeah.
those are actual songs, if that's what you're asking. They are not just made up.
No. So it's a really verbose title. No songs
Well,
repository.
yeah, I might minimize it by saying when at least one failed song, or one failed song import, but we're in the song importer, so we can say when at least one song
How
import
about
failed.
malformed? Because we've been using the term malformed in the previous test.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been trying to use realistic scenarios like, oh, I forgot to copy this column, or I didn't copy enough columns, or I copied the wrong columns, or I copied things in the right way. So we're trying to use generally realistic data. All right.
Let's get one that's real. How many columns we get? 1, 2, 3. All that's contributor. Okay. And we'll find out. Manually change the what's the multi-select? Is it J?
Alt J,
Alt J.
but you got to select the thing first.
Yeah. My cursor's in the wrong window. The next line we don't care about. I'm going to delete that in a second. Oh, do we want to put don't cares in there?
No, I think if it's real data, it's real data. So if
Okay.
that would work, then that's fine.
Yeah, so that should work. So actually, should we take these out, make sure it's a success? Before we go negative.
No, I think we should express what we want, and then are you saying you're not sure if that data is going to be good?
Right, to prove that this data is good.
Sure.
So we do that. Now it should fail because it's going to be success.
Right. That's not at all confusing.
And these are IO free, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not confusing.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. Okay, good. So now put this back. Whoa. Here we go.
So now this should pass again, and then we can add
Okay.
on the repository check.
Again, how did we check the repository last time? Or did we? Oh yeah, here we go. Well, if it's failure, this should be empty.
Yeah, so I think the behavior we want is all songs is empty.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool.
All right.
Let's-
Yeah. I'm glad we wrote that
yeah,
because that was my suspected behavior, but we didn't have a test to
to prove
make
it.
sure that that was to not only document it, but also ensure that that's actually the case. So that's good.
Okay, let's
All right.
check this in.
So I might make that
Verbose. Sure.
more clear. I'm fine with it. So add a test to make sure bulk import of songs. And then I put a comma there after songs. Where some are correct and others malformed causes no songs to be saved into the repository.
Mm.
And just to be sure, we should run the database tests as well.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that wasn't something to type.
I didn't think it was, but I thought it was
Yeah.
be a
Because this is the version of the same code, but running with the database as the repository as opposed to an in-memory version. And sometimes there are differences, but not this time.
oh good. Sweet.
So I didn't think
Good.
there were, but as
It's
they say,
actually
better safe than sorry.
yeah, and it's good to call it out too, to be
Yeah.
explicit. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. Okay.
All
We
right.
have, what does Jira say for us?
So now we said we wanted to show the actual
Tabular
data that was
form.
imported.
Yeah. So
So what do you
how do
think?
we make it tabular so it's readable instead of the crappy
Well,
way it looks when we paste it in?
we use the magic of HTML.
I've heard about that. Use
So
table,
this is
basically.
tabular data, so we use a table.
Yeah.
Even though divs and CSS, grid, and so on, still for tabular data, I think table is the best way to go. So let's create our table in the HTML, and then we'll have to put the right stuff in the right place.
Are we doing it for success? Yes, for success.
Yeah.
So that would be
Because we just demonstrated that if it's not success, we haven't imported anything.
right. Yeah. So it's this file.
Oh, can you just try something? Can you
Sure.
minimize that bottom window again a little bit? And now double click on the highlighted song import success tab. Was that a double click?
It was. Let me do it again.
Yeah. Huh.
It
I
goes
thought you
back and
had
forth.
the tab switcher plugin.
I do. I believe it might not be configured correctly because some of the other tab switcher stuff I was looking at were, was
So
it?
if you look
Yeah,
in
plugins.
plugins,
This
oh,
one,
you do
tab
have it
shifter.
installed. That's weird. I wonder if it just works differently on Windows. Huh.
OS X shortcuts, other OS shortcuts.
Because what a double click does on the Mac is basically an Alt Shift M, which is maximize that window temporarily. But maybe that doesn't translate on Windows. Okay, never mind.
Sandro, is that the guy in Sardinia?
I don't know where he's
Don't know.
located. He's associated with Codurance.
I'll go look him up later.
Yep. All right, so never mind. Let's cancel out of this.
Cool.
Okay, now make it bigger. There is a keyboard shortcut to what it does is it maximizes that, and then if you do it again, it's a toggle, and then it basically puts it back the way it was. And so it's very handy for like what you end up doing a lot of, which is drag it up, drag it down, drag it up, drag it down.
Right.
There's a shortcut for that.
I'll have to look for that.
But it's already a lot of shortcuts on top of a lot more shortcuts. So all right, so let's put a header that says something like, imported songs, and then we can put a table. So table.
Just straight up, or do you want to?
Just close it. And then we want our table header. So first a table row, so TR. And now we want our table headers. And now we want, so I usually put the table headers on a single row, and then just, it makes it easy to duplicate that.
Meaning like this?
Yeah, Control Shift J would have
been
your friend there. So now we just basically put in a column. This is the header that will appear at the top of the table. So you just want one of each of these for each column that we want to show.
Actually, it's just. I forget. Are we ignoring certain columns?
Well, you want to look at whatever's in song. But I put each TH as a separate, basically stacking up the THs.
Oh, I thought you were saying you wanted them all in one line. Sorry.
I want the TH and the closing TH on one line. You had them as two separate things.
Right,
so I
right,
want each TH element on one line, but stacking them because then it's easier to read.
Got it. Let me go look at song again.
Yeah, because the only data we have is what's in song.
Artist, song title, release type, and themes. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Artist, song title, release type, and themes. Now, will we do this as themes or theme 1, theme 2, theme 3?
You tell me.
I don't know which is better. I think just grouping them together and having them separated, maybe like comma space. Or
yeah,
the square bracket thing, which sort of auto.
We can do the comma separated. That's easy enough with a string joiner. I know we do. I'm pretty sure we do that elsewhere.
Yeah.
All right, so that defines the header row. You can preview that if you want. Yep.
Okay.
And since you have no styles, we get a pretty boring table, but we can make that nicer later. So let's go ahead, and after the closing TR, we want now another TR. This one is going to be the one we're going to loop over. So we're going to do it
4?
TH each. You think it would be 4, except it's not, because 4 is applying labels to input fields, which I always get confused about. So we want a TH each, and we pretty much want to pull some kind of song view out of a list of song views.
I forget how we did that.
So you can just say song view colon, and then so I usually name these as like variable. These are variable names, so they start with a lowercase, and I put spaces around my colon just to make it easier to see. And then the dollar curly, and then inside there would be song views. Basically, that will be the list that we'll put into our model.
Like that?
Yep. And you can close the TR, and then new line. And then you want basically similar TDs, because these are cells, so they're TD. So you can copy and paste those and then just change all the THs to TDs.
No.
Alt J.
Yeah, I did the wrong. Oh. Okay. Oh, I missed one. Or I got
No, what happened was you selected too much, and so it did autocompletes for you. I was going to say only select just the letters, not the angle brackets, but it's fine.
Oh, I see.
Easy enough to fix. So now what we want to do is stick in after each TD, we're going to want a TH text. So what I usually do is I do a
like a vertical multi-select?
I do a multi-caret vertical, but that I don't know what it is on Windows. Is it a double tap on the? I don't know what the keystroke it is. So there's on Mac, it's you double tap the Option key and you move the arrow down. I don't know what it is on Windows.
Let me try.
Because IntelliJ won't help me because it looks like it's a double tap of Control. Okay, so if you hit Control twice, if you say Control down arrow, no, Control down up, and then Control down arrow. But you have to be. Does that trigger run everything? So double tap of Control does run everything. All right. Well then.
Yeah.
The IntelliJ is wrong because it says double tap with the Control. So you have to. So you do Control up and down, and then Control hold down, and then press the down arrow. But you have to do it quick enough so that it recognizes it as a double thing. This is why this keystroke is really hard to learn.
Got it.
There you go. And now every time you do down, it duplicates it. But if you wait too long, then you lose it. This is one of the harder ones because it's that you got to get the timing right. You got to hold it down while you press the arrow the second time. And you got to keep going, otherwise it goes out of that mode.
Damn it.
So I'm going to say don't bother, and let's.
Okay, I was so close.
What you can do is, if you want, you can do select the entire TD element, including the angle brackets, and then just do the Alt J. And now you can move right and then left. And now you've got basically what you want. So TH colon text equals, and then dollar curly brace. And now that's going to, so that's all that's the same for each one. And now you can just put in the individual names.
We're just calling them, I think they're just straight up, right?
Yeah, why not? We can call them whatever we want.
Oh, at this point, they're not already in there?
Well, we haven't defined song view, so we.
What did I think we did?
Yeah, Jonas is correct. We're probably lifting up the control key too soon. So you don't lift up the control key the second time until you've selected all the ones you want. But again, it does take a little bit of practice.
Okay.
And yeah, it is like a little mini game. It wouldn't surprise me if there is a hidden snake game somewhere in IntelliJ. I would not be at all surprised. So we can do a preview of this just to make sure that everything's laid out, at least in some ways.
Song view class.
Oh, great. Then is it used? So there's a bug in
it's not
IntelliJ.
used.
Well, okay. So I encountered a bug yesterday where it was saying, "Oh, this record is not used," when in fact it actually was, which caused all sorts of problems for refactoring. Now, just because it says it's not used doesn't mean it's not. I'm convinced it is used. So let's look for a new song view if you're going to do a search. So new at a space in your search.
Yep.
Yeah.
Free places.
So we are using it. There's a bug in IntelliJ. So Jonas asks, have I followed it yet? No, because I wasn't sure if it would be easy to recreate. But now that I've seen it twice in two different projects, now I'm going to I'll follow the issue today, because that's pretty awful. And what I ended up having to do is convert it to a class, do the refactoring, and then convert it back to a record.
Oh, wow.
Which was really annoying. But in this case, we can just reuse it because it does exactly what we want, right? Although it is missing something.
This part might be different, but that's fine.
But it's missing release type.
Do we care about release type? At this point, we don't, because we haven't. Release type is that one column that we still haven't dealt with, as far as it could have the word compilation, could have the word collection or soundtrack, and then that has some verification implications, like if it's a
I remember there's
compilation or a soundtrack, it has to have a release title, whereas normally we don't consider it having a release title.
Right. So the question is
for now,
do you expect to be importing data with that? Because right now we're not showing it.
We're not showing it.
We're not showing it, but we are taking it in. So
yeah, so
I don't like that asymmetry.
Yeah, me neither. I'd rather show everything we got.
So let's so I suggest we
well, actually, I don't want to show everything we have, because I haven't decided. Like, so for example, contributor column.
Well, we're not saving contributor.
Oh, is that just ignored?
It's not. Yeah, it's not a column that we are importing. I mean, if you look at song, it's not in song, right? Song is our domain object. We don't have contributor anywhere in there.
Okay, so that stuff is. So it's 1, 2, 3. So those items, and that's it. So everything else is ignored.
Yeah.
So that means when we start pulling in data for real, at that point, we'll have to decide what to do, whether to clear the database and start over again.
Oh no, that's a migration. That's what migrations are for.
That's true.
The presumption is that the only person who's importing that, the minute we care about that there's more than you just importing it, that's when we'll do the migration. And then we'll fill in the column as a default with you, because you were the only one who imported. Right. So that's certainly a Yagni.
But that's not the only column we're ignoring. The other column I have.
But right now we're not displaying both when you find songs and if we try to reuse the song view, we're not displaying the release type. So
Right,
if it's
we're
in the
not.
song, I think we should display it regardless of anything else.
Got it. So we'll just display everything that's in the song.
Yeah. All
Which
right,
means,
Jonas, good luck tomorrow with your and good luck with your on-call week.
oh wow,
So
I hope you
hope
get
that
lots of sleep.
hope that you don't get called. All right, so so what I would suggest is let's fix up song view.
In other words, add in release type.
Yeah, but if you do this, the refactor is not going to work because it thinks there are no usages.
Should we do the same thing? Switch it to a class?
It's only used in a couple of places, so I think we can just manually do it. I mean, let's try to do a change signature. I just think it's not going to fix anything, and then we'll just fix the compile errors.
Change signature. Okay,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And so wherever release type was is where it'll be in the order.
Yeah. Let me check the spreadsheets. After release title. Where is it now?
Well, you just moved it up, so now it's in the right place.
Okay.
And you can see the preview in the
anyway.
bottom. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's refactor.
Fingers crossed.
And my guess is if you try to run the IO free test, it's going to fail to compile.
Because you think it didn't?
Because I think it didn't.
Whoa.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that one.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah. So you need to fix that by putting in song a new line because we've now changed it. So it looks like it did work. It looks like it actually did change at least this reference to song view. So the question is, did it change the other references? Because it changed this one. Yeah. So it did not. But that's fine. We can
just manually.
Yeah.
I want to make it match real data. No, just
yeah. Now it thinks it's used, except we'll see. I'm not convinced that that will stay that way. What was really weird is like it was clearly used because it was used inside the record in a static method. So I wonder if a minimal reproducible example it can be done with just a single record.
No. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know what you did, but you've got too many double quotes.
There we go.
Yeah.
But this is now wrong.
Because you got too many double quotes.
There we go.
And you probably want to copy. I mean, you could let it fail. That's fine too. Because it's missing now the relevant release type.
Actually, we want the quotes too.
No, you don't want the quotes because you're pasting it into something that already has quotes.
You're right.
All right, now that should pass. Excellent.
Commit, I presume?
Yep.
Added release type.
Yeah, before you commit, actually, Suiji brings up a good point.
Okay.
That it's no longer irrelevant because now it's actually used in the song view.
Yeah. Well, if we actually go to valid values, that would be empty.
Yes, but that's not the current behavior.
Right. So I could show this.
That's fine.
Because that's for the relevant release night. It's actually not a. If you think of it as
If you want to keep it valid, that's fine.
yeah, keep it valid.
Yep.
It's either empty or 4 other strings, none of which is irrelevant.
All right, let's finish that commit and then
Take a break.
we'll take a break.
Yeah, we shot past our break time. My time timer failed me. Okay, commit.
All right, so we updated our HTML to show at least it will show the correct stuff. You can do a quick preview just to see, and I think you misspelled release type on line 25.
Totally.
Now you've got an extra T. There you
Yep.
go. If we preview it, we should see that. That's fine. And when we come back from our break, we'll actually update the controller to put that data into the model so we can grab it.
Sweet.
So we'll see you after our break. Hey, folks. So, as you may know, in my Discord community, one of the things we do is we have a book club. And so we're just about finishing up the book, The Programmer's Brains. We've basically got one more session, and then we're going to select another book. So, if you would like to participate, it's free. Um, what we do is we pick a book, and once we pick a book, then pretty much every Sunday, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific time, which is currently 5 p.m. UTC, we spend 2 hours over Zoom, and we try to make sure that we understand what the book is saying, and we discuss things, we share experiences, get clarity on things, and so we've done, gosh, I don't know, 6, 8 books since we started doing this. So our next book we're currently selecting, and so if you want to help select and participate in that, join the Discord. Go to the book club channel. There's this thread about up what book you would like us to cover. And I have a few little guidelines about the kinds of books we're looking at. So we're trying to stay away from very specific language or framework kinds of things. So we're not going to read anything on Spring security as much as I feel like I need to. We're not going to read anything on React, which is totally fine with me. So we're looking for sort of more general books of more general appeal, because lots of, not everybody in the community, even though I do Java mostly, lots of C sharp, lots of PHP, Python, all sorts of languages and frameworks folks use. And so try to have a book that is at least applicable to those. So we've covered books where they use C sharp as the source code or Java as the source code. But generally it's things like unit testing or design that are more generally applicable. So if you are interested in putting forth your idea for a book, go into the book club channel, look at the thread for the next book, and make your case. Even if you haven't read The Programmer's Bane, but you're interested in lobbying for a book, you might want to join our next book club session, because after we finish the chapter, I don't expect it to take the entire 2 hours. We will spend the rest of the available time talking about the books we might like to cover. But either way, join the Discord if you're not already a member. If you are, join the book club. If you're not already a member of that, you might have to send me a direct message if you don't have access to the book club private channel. But if you've been in past book clubs, then you already have access. And we will be making a decision soon. And then if you weren't interested in lobbying for any book, you can still, of course, join us once we select the book. All right. So
I think we were going to connect it to.
we were going to write a test that makes sure we put the right stuff in the model, so that our view, which now is looking for song views, will find it.
The HTML view is looking for song view. So do we have any tests for song view is the question.
So
may not be. We have to do the old school approach, right?
You probably want to look for access to the from method and not song view directly, is my guess. Because the only non-test usage is actually from line 9 of the from method. So we can just look for usages of that.
Oh.
Because that seems to work.
So you think it's because of the record? Is that the issue?
There is a bug with usages on record. Yeah. I mean, it's like line 8 is saying that song view is not used, and it's literally used on line 11. So there's definitely a bug there. And if you click from there, if you go from song view on line 11 to the bottom, and you do a control B, yeah, so it takes you to the record, but if you try to now do a control B from there, oh, it does take you. So now it seems like it's recognized that it's used, it's just not updating the sort of coloring of it. So
And
that's
it's not showing the test because it is used in the test as
and it's not
well.
in the test. So that's interesting. All right. Anyway, there's clearly some bugs there. I will be filing an issue later today. So we want to test. Where do we want that test to be?
So what are we testing again? I just want to be clear. We're testing that this HTML got the right stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So is that like a GUI test or a
Nope.
UI test? No.
Nope.
We're talking subcutaneous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So where does song views come from? No, in the HTML, who's in charge of, so where does that song views reference come from? It comes from a very similar place to the success message.
Oh, from the what's it called? Is it importer test? The redirect, the model, the redirects.
So this isn't a redirect attributes. So how would you figure this out? So song import success is the page that we want to basically modify. So what would you look for if you want to figure out who's referencing this page?
Well, since this was already working, I would see who's referring to this.
Yeah, you could do that. And that may or may not work because it's not always reliable, because IntelliJ sometimes has trouble parsing
strings.
things.
Could go this route. But that's only for redirect messages.
Right, so that tells you what puts it in. What actually displays this page? What triggers the display of this page? So what would you look for to figure out what displays song import success?
Oh. Something like that.
Right. So it has nothing to do with the get mapping. It has to do with that right there.
The return.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what is returning the template, the name of the view. So this is what displays it, but it doesn't give us 100% telling us what gets put in here. So what's interesting is we get some of the stuff from, we're currently getting the information through redirect. So this isn't going to tell us everything that we want to know, because we just came here from a redirect. So again, we have no idea what just happened. The only way we know what happened.
The earlier ADR.
Right. And so so that means it's going to be another type of redirect. And so that's where you can say, okay, well, clearly it's going to be a redirect. You could follow the trail of the success message, or you could find where does it redirect to this mapping. So one of the most confusing things in Spring MVC is that get mapping on line 28 can be 100% completely different than the name of the template that you're returning on line 30. So the name of the template could be XYZ, and as long as you're returning XYZ on line 30, it works. The redirect would not change because it's a redirect to a URL. So the get mapping is URL based. The redirect on line 41 is URL based, same for 36. But the template name is just the name of a file. And so that's something that's like, oh, it looks like they always need to be the same, but they don't.
They don't. People just tend to make them the same, I presume.
I tend to make them the same, although I do wonder sometimes if that makes things more confusing. but they don't have to be. I remember way back with struts and struts too. It's like a whole bunch of things had to be the same, and I was never sure which ones it was okay to be different, so I just made everything the same. But it can be confusing because they don't have to be, and so sometimes they're not. But that's where it's like, is this the name of a basically an HTML file, or is this a URL? And so redirects are always about URLs. Get mappings are always about URLs. This just happens to be the name of a template.
Right, because there's no redirect on this one, whereas
Yeah.
it is here.
Yeah. And some people don't use string. Some people use model and view as a more typed parameter for these, and then it becomes a little bit more clear. I just find those harder to test, so that's why I don't do them. So because we only have the information about what was imported in line 40, we have to basically do the work there in terms of where we're going to do the work. And then the test will be similar for the one we did for a success message.
So we'll add an additional attribute here. So
We will add a new attribute there.
Okay.
And what will the name of that attribute be?
Songs imported.
No, we already have a name.
Oh. Do we call it song view?
Nope. It's always inside the curlies. So the $sign curly brace is saying pull in from the model from the map, whether it's a redirect attributes map or a model map, it turns out to be the same thing. Find me the attribute with that string.
Gotcha. So this would be something along the lines of
right.
Comma stuff.
Right. Which would be your song views objects list, or basically the list, which you'd use the from method from the songs. So we know how that's going to go.
Songs. So not TSV songs, but
no,
from the result.
From the result.
Yeah.
So just like we pulled out the result values, we basically do the same thing, but we'd have to convert them because that's domain objects and we want views. But we're running ahead of ourselves because we haven't written a failing test.
Okay. So the test would be off of handle song import, which is all in the song importer test world.
Right.
So should we reuse? Well, let's talk about putting in repository. So should we have a separate test that's about that that the attribute has all of the songs?
Well, so this test is saying repository, but that's not really what this test is testing. So I think the test name is wrong.
Okay.
Because notice we don't reference repository
ever.
Well, we do actually do it on line 39. I wonder though if we shouldn't do that there anymore. I actually think we should delete that because we actually have that now covered with the success message.
Oh, so do it this way.
Yeah.
And then we do need the repository still.
Yes, although I don't remember if we have a nullable for that, but we will no longer need reference to that. So what we want to say is song import results in success page containing songs imported. And again, I might sort of flip it around to say success page shows.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there with the name. Success page shows songs imported.
Yeah, that's it. So Suiji mentioned something about a custom assertion. I don't think I have the context, Suiji, so you'll have to help me out. So given this, it's basically we might want to, just like we refactored before for looking at the flash attributes, we might want to also do a similar refactoring.
So like do it success.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what Squeegee meant.
possibly.
So
Oh, with the
basically,
model in view. Maybe, maybe. I've just gotten into the habit of not using model in view. I'll have to try that out.
so this would be success message.
Uh, well, what I might do is extract
Inline it.
that, but in the idea that we're going to reuse it for. Oh, I see. Yes, yes.
I was
Okay.
mimicking this.
Yeah. I was thinking that we might reuse it, but we can't because we're going to ask. We're actually going to get a different type.
A different flash attribute.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Then we don't need this anymore. Is that what you were thinking?
Yes, I might name it a success message from to make it clear that it's actually pulling out the success message from that.
What?
It's asking you to rename a test method. We don't want to rename the test method. So just hit OK. Yeah.
Now, does that mean this one we should also add from
Let's look at the context.
right above 1 or 2?
Yeah, I kind of like from.
I do too. Is this used outside of this?
No, it's basically asking if you want to rename method names, and we don't. I wish it would stop asking. So Suiji asks, will the redirect attributes translate into query parameters? I have no idea.
Move this to the bottom.
Yeah.
Lord. So
Uh-huh.
failing.
So I have an answer to Suiji's question. Since
Oh,
they're
you do.
flash attributes, the documentation is explicit about saying, unlike other redirect attributes, flash attributes are saved in the HTTP session, so they don't appear in the URL. So if your concern was, which I had a concern about, is if we import 1,000 songs, is that going to appear somehow in the URL? It will not, which is comforting. So, all right. Sorry, I interrupted you.
So we write a failing test now for.
Yes.
I guess actually I want to steal, or at least look at it again. Steal this part. but not. Actually, is the list of
It's not.
no.
It's going to be
No.
a list of song view.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't copy that part, and I would just. I'm
Oh.
not sure why you're changing that.
Oh shoot. Oops.
So I would copy just from redirect attributes to the end of the line, and then we'll let IntelliJ help us cast it.
Why did I think I was up here?
So what I would first do is pull that out into a variable to make it easier on us to do that refactoring. And you'll want Control W. There you go. Nope. Nope. Nope.
I know, working on it.
So song views is the correct variable name, but the type is wrong.
Right.
Because it doesn't know.
So here would be a list of song views?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Of song view, singular.
Yeah. And now it complains, and now you can auto fix it, quick fix to cast, and then you can do an extract method. And you don't have to select anything, you can just do extract. But you want including the cast. Yep.
Unable to extract.
Contains syntax errors. Oh, it doesn't like it because you got a syntax error on line 48, which is weird because that's unrelated to what you're doing. It's weird that it had that problem. I would basically comment out 47 and 48, do the refactor, and then we can uncomment it. You don't have to select, just do extract method.
Oh, right. Is that weird? Oh, we can do from.
Yeah.
There we go. That's better.
Yes. Now you can uncomment and inline.
Well, will it let me inline with the partially? Oh, to let me do that.
It's like, I don't know why it had a problem with the other thing.
Interesting.
Because it didn't have a problem here, so who knows? All right. So now we've got our song views. What do we expect those song views to look like?
Well, I guess the first thing would be there should be so many of them.
Sure, we can start there.
And
how many should they be?
2.
Yeah.
I need to refresh my memory. You're
going to need a...
I know, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, you're looking for the finish statement?
Yeah, what is the finish again? It's not on my cheat sheet. The
Control Shift Enter.
There we go. Oh, there it is. Literally the top of my cheat sheet. The number 1. I wrote it as code completion. What did you call it?
So IntelliJ calls it complete current statement.
Control Shift Enter. Got it.
All right. So what do we think this is going to do?
Fail because we're not stuffing anything in there yet.
So what's
or did we? Or a second. No, we didn't.
So I want a more precise failure prediction.
Well, we've got 2 songs here. Before these 2 were passing, did we change anything that could affect those?
No. So it's only this new assertion. So how is this assertion going to fail?
It's going to fail saying on the get, it doesn't know what get is, which means it'll return a null object, which will then try to dereference. So null.
Well, it's just going to be saying expect actual to not be null. But I wanted to get to the point that what we get is a null, not just 0, right? So which could have been a reasonable expectation. But that's why I was drilling down to like what is precisely going to happen to think about. Oh, we're doing a get. That attribute is never added, and so therefore
Right.
we'll get actual not null. All right. Look at that. Expecting actual not to be null. Exactly what we said.
Cool. So now
So let's make it fail differently.
Oh, make it feel differently. Oh, right. What you mean is get the attribute, but not have it have 2 songs yet.
Right.
So
That's a code change. Yep.
Yep. Oh, look at that. And let's make it actually. It's expecting a list of songs, right?
Yes.
So
So you could just put empty list if you'd like.
that's what I was going to do is empty list. Really? You got to type it? Oh,
I'm not sure why it doesn't complete for you, but you can, yeah, collections dot. Yep.
I could have sworn that autocomplete worked before. So now it'll fail saying it's 0, not 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Now we can make it. I mean, so we could put in 2 entries, but that kind of gets pointless. So let's do the right thing.
So now we're importing the songs. They're in this. So it's result dots values. That's a list of songs.
So let's run this and see how it fails, or
So
will it fail?
it's gonna. You think it's gonna fail because what is?
So I think it's going to fail because it's going to try to cast it to a list of song view. So it'll fail. It'll fail on the cast.
Songs.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's not a list of songs.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, did not fail on the cast, and the reason why
is our friendly
good friend generics. But that's good.
Do we write 2 here now?
Well, no, no. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that our cast, on our test, is not really concerned about list of song view because it doesn't really at runtime it doesn't know the underlying containing type.
So it just sees it as a list, and that's
it just sees it as a list, yeah. Which the fact that the empty list was passing should have been a warning that was going to happen.
Oh, because we didn't say what kind of empty list.
Right, and there was nothing that it could infer because the add flash attribute says string to object. So, which is actually good because what we want to do now is say not just has size of 2, but contains exactly. And then basically song views of the above. So here's where we could manufacture the song views directly, but I'd say that's kind of pointless. Let's just call well,
what this?
We could pull them out of the repository and convert them ourselves. So this would, but I'm fine with that. So we could do repository. We could do song views dot from repository find all. So uppercase song views dot. Yep. So all songs gives us a stream, so we'll have to do a to list. Why is that a...
Oh, this is all songs, not song views. What was I thinking? From is expecting.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what the... Can we pull it? So I think a search A also might be confused. So let's extract the entire... Yeah, let's extract that to a variable. We'll just call that songs. What is the return type of from? It's a list of song view. So why? Oh, we can't say contains exactly what the list. We have to say contains exactly what's in this list. I forget what it is. So can you hit the autocomplete? Elements of, yeah. That's why. Because what we want to say is contains elements of this other list, not this list contains this list. That makes no sense.
Got it. So now,
yes, collaborator-based isolation is what we're kind of doing. We're basically saying we know that the song view from method works because we've got tests against it, so there's no point in not relying on that. The fact that we're going to the repository, we could go directly to the parser, 6 of one, half dozen the other. We know it's in the repository, so that's fine. If we really didn't want to have a dependency on the repository, well, then we'd have a dependency on the song parser, so I don't know, 6 of one, half dozen the other. So what we're saying is we expect what we get in there is basically a bunch of song views to a certain extent. We don't care how they're
ordered.
Well, we care how they're ordered, actually, because we're saying contains exactly elements of... We didn't say in any order. We presume it's in this order. But we basically don't care about the details of the conversion. Because otherwise what we'd have to do is do new song view and then basically write a bunch of code that duplicates the text in lines 35 and 36, and that's just annoying and prone to error. And we're not really testing that anyway.
Right. Run it.
What's our prediction?
Might work.
That's not a prediction.
Should work.
That's not a prediction either.
I
mean, you could say we'll pass.
I think it'll pass and we'll find out.
Okay. So I think it's going to fail because values are not song views. So remember, we put songs in there, but what we're expecting are song views.
Oh.
So what we're saying is, and what's interesting is, like, yes, they're very close because of the way that song and song view are closely related, but it's wrong. So let's go fix it.
So that means our production code should... These values are songs. We want song views.
Right. So funny enough, we just wrote in our test how we do that conversion.
That?
Yep. All right, Suiji, have a good night. Thanks for your help.
Thanks, Suiji.
All right.
Hey.
So now
I think it might work.
Now we think it'll pass.
Okay.
And voila.
Cool.
So now we can run it. Run the app. I might need to restart the app because I think it's already running. there is that shortcut that is it that, 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 that. I don't know. That. Yes.
Okay, here we go.
What is that? Control Shift semicolon.
What are you working on?
So there's a bit of an annoyance, at least I find it annoying, that particular. Note what you had to do was we had the run configuration selected for running IO-free tests. And because most of the time we can then just press Shift F10 or Control R to run those.
Right.
To run the app, then you got to select a different run configuration. And then when you go back, you have to switch it back to run IO-free tests. You can keep the run configuration set to the startup, and then you invoke a different keystroke to run recent tests. And so that will basically always offer you IO-free tests and other tests that you've run. And so you can always run recent tests without having to change your run configuration. But I won't throw more keystrokes at you.
Okay. Oh, it's a keystroke only thing. Got it.
I mean, it's on a menu somewhere, but there's the shortcut is Control Shift semicolon.
Oh my.
Yeah. So not at all. And it was one of those I actually came across it accidentally because I was actually trying to press the tab shifter to move to split the window top bottom, and I hit the wrong key. And it's like, oh, what's that?
Run recent tests.
Yeah.
I'm still going to add it to my little checklist here.
All right.
Run recent tests.
All right. So let's.
I misspelled shift. And you probably can guess which letter I left out.
Yep.
Okay. Now we're going to import.
Yep.
Aw. 6 songs. So they're not displaying because how is the view connected again to the model?
Huh. That's surprising.
Song views singular versus song view.
No, we said song views.
That's the test though. Where's the production code?
It would be song importer.
Song views. Song view from values. Values is a list. Do we need to tell it which values?
No, they are by definition, and we know that it's the correct number because we're displaying that it imported 6 songs. So we know that there are 6 entries in there. Why are we not
seeing them?
So we do add flash attribute. We're seeing that message. Can we see the HTML again? And are there any errors in the output in the run console? Hmm. What are we missing? Oh, okay. So what I was going to suggest is are we displaying no TRs, or are we or is something else wrong? So let's go look at the browser. And this is again where sort of HTML tests would help us here, and do an inspect. And I think we'll find we've got rows that happen to be empty. So we are displaying, and I bet there's 6 of them.
Yep.
Okay, so we are displaying. So my first thought, which probably was yours as well, is that somehow song views was empty or not being transferred across the redirect. We actually know that there are 6 TRs. So that is, so the each is iterating through all of them. So there's a problem with our th text on the tabs on the table cells. So we're saying artist song title, but we're not prefixing it with song view because these are properties of song view.
Ah,
So here's where you can practice your control down arrow if you want.
1 second.
Yep. Yep. And then just start typing. Dot. Yep. Hey, BDSL. Yeah, I don't use that generally unless I'm trying to figure out sort of layout stuff. I like to just inspect so I can see the data, because it's a lot easier to look at the elements in this case, especially since they're empty. I'm not actually sure how much space they'd be taking. And good evening.
Howdy.
All right, so let's rerun. And at some point, you'll delete line 27 there in the HTML.
Yes.
So you could do a refresh on this page, which will show us that failure of our resiliency. But we made that decision explicitly.
Ooh. Oh, wait a second. Oh, we were running, right?
So what is that error stack trace? I'm going to guess at what that is. That the names we used in our th text are not quite right. So let's scroll down. Stop. Song title does not exist. What do we call it on our song view? We call it title.
Artist title.
So on song itself, it's called song title. On song view, it's called title. How do we feel about that?
I don't like that.
Yeah.
We can rename this view.
Yes.
Now, will, given the weirdness of, well, we could try. Whoop. Stop and try again, or should we want to rerun the
well, let's run the tests.
all or just IO free?
Let's run the IO free first, and then we can run all. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the redundancy either. But the first step is consistency.
I like this Control Shift semicolon. I must say, as annoying it is as a shortcut. Okay.
All right. So I expect, because we're not testing HTML, wherever we were using SongView, other than this file, is now wrong. So we were using it in one other place. So let's look for where else were we using SongView. I wouldn't look for it there because that's not going to find. You want to look for the actual string SongView.
Right. Yeah, because it's.
But not that string. What you want to look for is an actual quoted. You want to look in HTML files, and there's not that many for SongView.
Oh, I see.
So search in files and select HTML for the mask. And then look. We must have been using it somewhere.
Song title, release title.
Yeah, and theme search has results. Second one. So that must have gotten renamed. So looks like we're okay.
And I was wondering because I think that one.
So I wasn't sure if IntelliJ would do that. It's not always reliable to renaming into references inside of time leaf templates.
Let's see what. But those are what we did.
Yeah.
This is the one that the automated tool did.
Right.
Got it. Oh, interesting. So it did actually do it.
All right. Cool.
Run the app again?
Yeah. We want to see a table with our stuff.
Yeah. Totally.
And then I think we can say we're done for the day.
Yeah. Actually, I could just reuse this.
You just import it. Click the import again. Oh. Look at that.
Wow. Not great, but okay.
Well, I mean, it has the correct data. We may not like the
Right.
layout and the styling,
exactly.
but it's certainly got the right data. So, yay. Success.
Cool.
Ship it. Or at least commit and push.
Yeah, let's do that. Actually, let's go to Jira first. If I didn't close it, I think I just closed it. Nope, there it is. So actually, I want to add one more. Maybe style. But we can mark this one as done.
Mm-hmm.
Jira 9. That's the thing about our new system is the Jira numbers
move around.
Are gonna be changing and moving around. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Too bad.
All right. So next time we can improve the style a bit.
I was hoping we get to this.
Yeah, I was hoping we get to this too, but
what else we got? We've got.
So it was either going to be autocomplete or deploy to production. What do we want to do first next time?
I would definitely. I think I'd rather have autocomplete ready before we go live with it.
Okay.
Might even want to.
Remember that going live doesn't do anything because.
Oh, it's still turned. Isn't it still turned off at the production site? Yeah, it just says coming soon.
Yeah, so I mean, unless somebody knew the actual endpoint,
right? Which I'm okay with the obscurity.
Yeah, but that's fine either way.
So in that case, yeah, we should. It'd be good to get up to production.
I think we should get it on production because that will get us to setting up the database and then setting up our continuous integration.
Do you want to do that before autocomplete?
I'd like to do that before autocomplete because the way things have been going is features take a while, and I'd like to be able to see it.
Yeah. So set up database. What else were you saying?
GitHub Actions for build and test.
Anything else?
That's it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might like these before Arc Unit.
Yep. All right. So we've got our plan for next time. Awesome.
Yep.
So let's commit and make sure to do a push.
Right. Good enough?
Yep.
Anything else you wanted to add?
Nope. Hit the commit and push.
We keep forgetting to push at the end of the session. That's why we've been like saying it out loud. Commit and push. Commit and push.
And it's running all the tests. I think we just have
and then
some disabled tests.
And then I'll have to say push anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it considers disabled tests as failing in this regard.
Ignored tests.
So they're ignored. Does that mean it actually didn't push?
I'm waiting for this. Well, this has got to go away. I'll get that to go away. Go away. Yeah, see now it says commit anyway and push.
Can we change this? What is the circles, the refresh icon do there? Oh, it reruns commit checks. Can we check the settings on that and the gear in the lower right? I think that's wrong. I mean, I can understand it, but I think it's wrong for it to consider that preventing you from pushing. So just say commit anyway and push, I guess. Even though
do you think there's a setting to say ignore? Because basically,
I don't.
Is this more than
no? All that does is basically which run configuration do you want. I don't see anything else offhand. I'd have to look a little deeper.
Unless it's in project settings.
I honestly think, and BDSL is alluding to this, is that once we have the GitHub stuff set up, it's going to run all the tests, and then we can stop doing that at every commit. Because then what'll happen is we'll just run the tests as we normally do, and if we forget to run all the tests, oh well, when we push, all the tests will run anyway, and then this will stop being a problem.
Yeah, I see.
But right now we don't have, I mean, we're not pushing to production anyway, so this sort of doesn't matter, so we could turn it off anyway, but that's the idea.
Got it.
So, yep. All right.
Cool.
Excellent. All right. So thanks, folks, for hanging out and giving us assistance when we needed it and asking good questions. We always appreciate it. And so we will see you next time. So have a great,
Thanks for coming.
whatever rest of day is left for you.